Welcome back to another episode of our live seasons where we talk about the raw and honest truth to navigating through the different seasons of life. I'm your host, Wen. If you've been loving the podcast episodes, do leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on and let me know which topics are your favorite. I gotta say that today's episode is a little intense, but a much needed one for those of you who are still settling for less or who are either subconsciously or are actually aware of how easy it is for you to be impressed by someone, by whomever that you meet for the first time or getting to know someone better. I hope you're ready for this because this is not an episode for everyone. So if you have a different opinion, I respect that, but this is just mine, and if you resonate, time to take some notes. Alright, let's get straight into this episode, shall we? Now, the first thing I want to say is that I want to be real candid by saying this, okay? People who flaunt don't impress me. I said it, I know it sounds cocky, but I'm just going to talk about those people who actually have, who flaunt their wealth, their accomplishment, their properties, their watches, their cars, whatever material stuff that they think would actually impress a woman, they will flaunt it just because they have this preconceived thought that, most if not all women find a man who have this material stuff attractive or vice versa, right? Now, what I say is that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being attracted to someone that has all this material stuff. If that is you, you do you, okay? It's just that I know that these people are not really for me. And if you're listening to our live seasons, I'm pretty sure they are not for you as well, because we really look a lot into the deeper parts of humans, right? There's so much more to life than just your material wealth. Now, they are not the type of people that I vibe with, and it applies for both men and women, okay? Because I believe that there is so much more, like I mentioned, to life than just material stuff. So do I own luxury goods? Yes, I do. Do I love my purchases? I absolutely do, okay? But do I buy them to flaunt? No. And I use the word flaunt and not celebrate because it is different, okay? Spoiling myself with luxury items is just a way of me celebrating my milestones. It might be your way of celebration too, and it might not be. Whichever it is, there is nothing wrong with either as long as it makes you happy, okay? The ultimate goal here is that it actually makes you happy, or rather it makes me happy. I used to be someone that is so afraid of how people would view me if I were to admit that, I love luxury goods, and they are just one of the way that actually boosts my confidence. Like, luxury to me is really just to boost my confidence, and not to say that I don't have confidence in myself without my luxury items. It's just more of like, that's why I say it boosts, okay? It's not to give me confidence, it boosts it. So I feel good wearing them, especially, when I do not go in debt purchasing them. Whenever I purchase a luxury good, I make sure I sit on it and I think about it and know that this is something that I really want, and it's a form of celebration for me, okay? Like I said, being financially sound with your purchases is very important, okay? To me, every single luxury good I have, I purchase it on my own. I do not go into debt for it, and it's a sign for me to celebrate each and every one of my milestones that I accomplished in my life. That's just a way that I celebrate, okay? It might be different for you. So I came to embrace this version of me. I do not judge people who love the material world simply because they feel good, and because I'm like that as well, right? There's really nothing wrong with that, and if you resonate with this, I want you to take this as a sign to really start embracing this part of yourself, like this identity that you have. Even if it's just a phase in your life, and that's totally fine, I want you to know that it's okay to indulge. To be honest, this phase might pass, and who knows, right? You might prioritize traveling in the future. So be it. This is based on personal experience. I used to be someone that, love luxury. I had a phase where I was always constantly buying luxury items just because I could afford it, or just because it felt good, right? And now I just kind of prefer to spend that money to travel as a way to celebrate my milestones. So be it. It's fine. Like, these phases can come and go. Just because you have it doesn't mean you can be shamed for it. And that's something that I believe. I do not shame people for having this phase. It might just be a phase, right? Like I mentioned a lot of times, like in life, there are different phases and different seasons of your life. So embrace every single one of them. Anyways, I went on a tangent there, but what I want to say is that if you resonate, know that you're not alone, okay? I am with you, and be proud. Own it. Own all the luxury items that you have. Own the ability to be able to celebrate your milestones with these luxury items, right? When you own it, no one can question that. This is way better than hiding this side of you just because the society doesn't celebrate people who just genuinely love luxury goods. It's really not to flaunt, but just because you really love it. And that's me, right? Of course, keep in mind that I'm talking about having a threshold and not going to debt. Make sure that it is still a financially sound decision for you, and not going to luxury just because you feel a need to, or that is like what you think that you will be superior over others. Okay, no, this is a rule that I have for myself. I will never purchase something just because I feel that owning it makes me better than others. No, I see everyone as equal and unique in our own ways, right? As long as I'm certain of who I am at the core, which is kind and a respectful woman, I do not care how others might view me from the exterior, because the people who assume and judge who I am based on the luxury goods that I have or the material stuff that I have and not choose to get to know me on a personal level, they just judge. They are not my type of people, and they shouldn't be your type of people as well, okay? For my male listeners, please don't be a guy who feels a need to flaunt your wealth through material stuff just because you think that this is all women love, especially if you're a man who seeks high value women as your partner. This episode is really important for you because I always say this and I'll say it again, okay? Who you show up as is a representative of who you will attract in your life, be it your partner or your close friends, because they are a reflection of you. They are a representative of your choices. And to know someone better is to look at their choices and the choices that they make in their life, okay? Also, something I want to call out is the ego. If you think flaunting your material wealth boosts your ego, think again, okay? This is applicable to both men and women. I've seen women whose ego is through the roof. Like, let go of your ego. You don't need to flaunt to be seen as someone who's valuable. You just need to be you, okay? Focus on being you and don't feel a need to explain yourself or to justify why you're someone, or rather why you are this perfect person for someone, because those who know will know. Let your actions speak for you, okay? Anyways, back to what I was saying. People who flaunt their wealth with material stuff don't impress me because I have learned to take on this I can do it too mindset. When I say this, what I mean is that I can actually treat myself with all the material things that, men or even whoever thinks that, women will be dying for and lining up just to kill for this type of man. Like, I'm not that type of girl, okay? Maybe for some women, yes, but for me, no. I know where I stand, and I know that whatever that a man can provide for me, I can provide for myself as well. Okay, I'm talking about material stuff or just this feeling of love. I talk about love a lot on this episode, or rather on this podcast, and I always mention that you are complete yourself. You do not need someone else to complete you, okay? The love that you're seeking for, you can give that to yourself, all right? I have this concept, like I mentioned again, that whatever a man can do, a woman can do too. Vice versa. This is nothing special about anyone else that you can't have for yourself. And this stems from confidence. When it comes to relationship, I know that because I love myself so much that I can expect the same from my partner. Okay, I love hard and I'm a giver. I know this myself. Only if I feel that they are worth it and that they actually respect me, okay? They are very loyal and they are loving, and many other traits of my non-negotiables, which I talk about in episode 41, but you get the idea, okay? I know the intensity of love that I have for myself, so just imagine the love I give my partner or people who are close to me. It will be 100 times better because I know this of me, okay? I'm very cautious about who I let into my life, which I actually covered in episode 32. I love myself the way I want to be loved. I shower myself with the love and affirmation and hype myself up when no one did. When I learned to be alone, and that's the bare minimum. And so, if as a partner you can't even do that for me, then bye. Okay, I know this is very, it's a very hardcore type of mindset to have, but because of this mindset, I'm able to kind of filter people out of my life and know that the people around me or the people that keep close to me, they really bring value to my life and I bring value to their life. Okay, it's a win-win situation, all right? So, what I want to say is that I love myself the way I want to be loved. I shower myself with love and affirmations. And all this type of thing is a non-negotiable for me, right? It's the bare minimum. So it should be a bare minimum for my partner as well. So I can do everything myself. What value are you bringing into my life is something that I constantly ask myself of people, right? If I can literally give myself the things that I desire, be it love or anything material, I believe as a partner or in a relationship, you have got to contribute in some way, right? We complement each other. Like I mentioned a lot of time, in a relationship, you complement each other, you don't complete each other, okay? Remember, complete and not complement. Compliment and not complete. Because I believe that there are things that your partner does for you that might just feel very different from the receiving point of view, right? And generally speaking, having the confidence in saying that I am complete even without a partner is super important. That to me is the epitome of self-love, and also when you can add value to others people's life. Okay, I know this is very strong and I'm coming off very strong and it may offend some of you, I know, but this is just my opinion. Okay, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. I'm not forcing mine onto you, so I don't intend to. All right. And you may be wondering like where all this is coming from. Let me tell you, I am sick and tired of men or women, people in general, going into like DMs and starting the conversation with, hey, I think you're beautiful, hey, I think you're handsome, hey, I think you're good looking, can I get to know you better? Like, no, ew, reject. Why? Because other than looks, are you even interested in anything that I have to offer or he or she has to offer? It's clear as day that it's very superficial, especially when you know that you have so much more to offer as a human, right? And I'm not saying that looks don't matter. First impression obviously do matter, and I'm talking about personal grooming and not what society deems as good looking based on, our facial feature, etc. But with people that are clearly just interested in the exterior, I block, report, and delete. Okay, you should too. Not settling for the bare minimum, which is entertaining someone that only has something to say about your looks. Because trust me, there are men and women out there, and note that I say men and not boys or girls, okay, who will start a proper conversation by complimenting something about you that is not related to your looks, but something that shows they are interested enough to want to get to know you on a deeper level, right? More than just the subtle things that you have to offer, not just your appearance, okay? To me, having good visuals is just God's gift, alright? It comes with its own challenges, obviously. Doesn't matter how you look, it is the confidence that you portray that matters. If you think you look hella fine, you are hella fine, and no one can tell you otherwise, okay? It is the confidence that really carries your whole personality or your whole person. Wanna know what impresses me the most? It's the subtle things that you only notice in a person when you start observing, okay? Because being attracted to someone's appearance don't last. At the end of the day, whether you keep this person close to you in your life really depends on their personality, which I can't stress how important that is. So whether you are in a dating scene or you're just making friends, I really want you to make getting to know their character or people's character and personality as a priority. And let me just say this. Seeing people in their true self actually takes time. And for it to come naturally for you to just observe is not easy, but definitely doable over time, okay? As much as it sounds like a hassle to just sit there and observe how someone is really like instead of just listening to what they have to tell you, it doesn't have to seem unnatural at all. It can be really natural, okay? It is actually a very fairly simple process of observing, which I had like a whole entire episode on it, episode 43. So if you are not familiar with this concept of just observing people and just how they show up, then give episode 43 a listen, okay? Here's what I observe about someone when I first get to know them and how they are like as a person, which eventually will help me come to a conclusion if I can actually vibe with that person or not. And all this, like I said, happens naturally in the conversation. Okay, so in a conversation, I would actually observe how they speak about themselves and others, how they treat others, whether they are kind or they are respectful, how they handle tough situations, that's very important, how, they talk about their hobbies and their passions, whether they have one or not, and what are their hobbies and passions. A very big one is their perspective on life, how they talk about their life perspective or just things that they learn in life, whether they can actually hold a proper conversation with me. That's very important, a substantial one, instead of just like the whole fluff of, common things like, oh, what are you doing for work? Like, what do you do for a living? Blah, blah. Like the surface level, nah, we're not into that. We're a lot, especially for me, I really enjoy having conversations that goes beyond the surface level, like really talk about things in life, like a deeper conversation. And I know it's not a conversation for everybody, and I obviously don't start these conversations for our first like one-on-one or first date or first meeting. It's more of, as time passes, as you get to know each other, conversations about life will just kind of happen. And I love it. Like I love anything self-help and mindful stuff. So this is just me, okay? And another thing is the way they treat people, or rather the way they treat me without me having to lay out my standards and expectations at the start. This shows how observant they are too, okay? Now the last one is I would always like to observe their life stories and experiences, how they talk about it, because all these life experiences, all these stories actually makes them who they are today. So through all of this, you're able to tell how vulnerable someone can be and the reason why they react a certain way, the reason why they are who they are, okay? So all this really tells you about the purity of someone's heart, and that is something that is, okay? You can't fake it. Sincerity and being genuine to someone can't be faked. Either you have it or you don't, and it's obvious when one doesn't. Because when they try to fake it, like your intuition will really tell you, because there will come a point in time where they will slip up. Okay, that's when you're like, oh, something's off. Always listen to your intuition and always trust your intuition when you feel a certain emotion that you just can't explain about someone. Okay, so if you still find it hard to know if someone's intention with you are genuine, then it just means that you have not yet set your standards or be aware of it. Okay, I talk a lot about having standards and expectations, or just your non-negotiables in general, in episode 38. And if you were to ask my friends, they will tell you that I am someone who has very open invited high standards, at least high to them, okay? But to me, they are just the bare minimum. It's all about perspective. Like I mentioned, you are entitled to your own opinions. You are entitled to your standards. You are entitled to your non-negotiables. There are no right or wrong, okay? It's just how you are, what you can accept, what you can't, all right? I want to preface by saying that everyone's love language, expectations, and standards are very different. So knowing what makes you happy and what your standards are before you even start to get to know someone, especially dating someone, will really help you out a lot, because knowing those really acts as like a gantry to people who want to be in your life. This is where you kind of see like if someone is able to vibe with you, if someone is not able to vibe with you, whether or not you want to be that, whether you want that person in your life, or how you can actually bring value to the person, or how that person can actually bring value to you, okay? It's a two-way street. So set that standard for yourself. Make it high. Who cares? Back to the I can do it too mindset. If you can do that for yourself, someone else can too. Okay, you will attract someone who's willing to do that for you. It is a matter of whether they see the value in it or whether they want to or not. Okay, if someone is right for you, someone will make the effort to get to know you, because you know you're worth it. Okay, so they know you're worth it too. Always remember that it is a privilege to know you. It really is. If you don't quite believe me, please head back to episode 32, where I talked about why this mindset will help you to grow not only in your confidence, but also change the way people treat you. Of course, in a good way, because in that episode, you will start to learn how your actions can change the way people perceive you. And I am a living proof of it, alright? This advice applies to the men who are listening to this too, because I know we have a couple of men here. And first, I want to say you guys are really rare, okay? Men who love self-help stuff, we love. At least for me, I've not really seen like men who really enjoy self-help stuff, at least the people around me. But yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to you guys who are listening to this. It's amazing. We need more men like you in this world. But anyways, yeah, just know that whoever that you let into your life, they are the reason why you live a certain life, okay? They are a living, like I am a living proof. Like whoever that is around in my life, they treat me a certain way because I treat myself that way, right? Looking at me, they will be like, oh, this is, if she can treat herself with so much respect and she holds herself to such a high regard, why wouldn't I? And it's the same for people. When I see someone treating themselves so well, loving themselves so well, a part of me wants to be that for them as well. Knowing that, you know, being in their life, it means we grow together, right? We are high quality friendships. Like we have that level of friendship that is so valuable that I want to keep that person in my life. Same for them, all right? So, as promised, before I end, I want to leave you with this last mindset shift, okay? Know that anyone who is in your life, getting to know you, their biggest competitor will always be you. Let me repeat that again. Know that anyone who is in your life or trying to get to know you, their biggest competitor will always be you. They will always be there to compliment you in a better way, okay? Aiming to treat you how you treat yourself, or even wanting to treat you better than the way you treat yourself. If you ask me, this is not an unrealistic expectation. Back to the previous point, this is a standard. And there's a difference between having standards and your expectations, okay? They are very different. And it is okay for you to know your standards and stick by it. Okay, let me expand on this. The love that someone gives you and the love that you give yourself will always feel different, right? It will never be the same. I understand that it's ridiculous to say that you don't need anyone's love other than yours, and this is not the mindset I want you to take on. What I'm saying is that to be loved the way you want to be loved, you gotta first start by giving yourself that love and setting that standard for someone to follow, okay? Trust me, when you do that, the next person that allows you to feel that their love kind of supplements the love that you already have for yourself, that is when you know they are meant for you, because you'll feel a different kind of love that you won't even be able to explain it to someone. I'm honestly trying my best to explain it, but the best way I would describe it is an emotion that you never ever thought you'll feel, right? It's the one that just feels so different from the love that you give yourself, but receiving it, like being on the receiving end, you just feel like the love that person is giving you makes your heart so full that it's about to explode. Okay, it's a very different type of love as compared to the love that you give yourself. All right, it compliments you when your heart is so filled with so much joy and just happiness. Okay, that is when you know someone is for you. And this is what I truly believe love or true love should feel like. Okay, true love would never make you doubt the sincerity of that person and how genuine they are towards you. It just is. Their love is the way it is. It's so pure and it's so simple. You do not have to doubt it, okay? All you have to say for this is that it just feels so good and compliments you. Because remember in episode 31, I mentioned that how you know someone is for you is when they compliment you and not complete you. Okay? Also, lastly, I just want to say that what I can be so certain is that if you're an Our Life Seasons listener, I know you have a big heart and it's so giving. So please don't be so easily impressed, which then make you feel like, you can only settle for less. Alright? Don't settle for someone who's not emotionally stable, does not know like what he or she wants, expects you to give the world to them, and is constantly not satisfied. Don't do that. Don't do that for someone, okay? They are not worth it. I hate for that to happen, especially for my male audience, because I'm a woman and I hear a lot of things from other girls, and the way they talk about their partner is not really how I think I would want to talk about my partner. It's not good, so what I want to say is that hold yourself to a high standard, whether you're a woman or you're a man. Hold yourself to that standard and know that your partner eventually will be able to meet their standards or even higher. Alright, so for guys especially, doesn't matter if someone is pretty, or girls, doesn't matter if someone is pretty or good looking or whatever. If their heart is ugly, they are ugly, okay? And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about physical looks. I'm just talking about how their heart is like. If they don't have a pure and really beautiful heart, they're ugly, all right? And don't think that all good-looking people are like this. There are good-looking people that have a heart of gold, and you know that, okay? Vice versa for, all my Our Life Seasons women listeners as well. This applies to men and women, all right? I'm certain that each and every single one of you deserves the best thing that life have to offer, because I'm so confident in this community that we have built together. So do us proud and hold your standards high, okay? Don't settle or be easily impressed. That's all for today's episode. As usual, if you have any burning questions or topics that you want me to cover, please drop me a DM on Instagram at Our Life Seasons, or comment on whichever platform that you're listening to so I can get back to you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!